So let's just come and sit cross-legged if that's available to you. If it isn't, then find a comfortable position, so you can always have one leg straight, or you can sit kneeling. And just take a moment to broaden the seat. So if you just move the flesh of the thigh and the bottom out to the sides a little bit, and the inner thigh rolls down towards the floor, you get a better connection as you start to root down. So see if you can get a bit of tension out of the shoulders, the upper body. And as you close your eyes, begin to feel the weight of your body sinking into the earth. So the connection of the pelvis, the sit bones, getting heavy. And then begin to take attention to your breath and find a deeper breath. So we want to be relaxed enough around the middle of the body to allow some space for the breath. If you feel that it's all coming up into the chest, then see if you can relax the belly a little bit more, see if you can get the lateral ribs, the side of your rib cage, to move with the breath. And you can just drop the gaze down or close the eyes for a moment and take a deep inhale and see, can you feel the ribs expand, the belly expand, and the spine lift with that inhale. And then as you breathe out, can you keep that sense of lift and spaciousness? So you almost feel as if you're blowing up a hot air balloon. So as you breathe in, it starts to lift. And even as you breathe out, that lift continues through the crown of your head. And maybe you start to sit a little bit taller. Relax the shoulders so the hands can rest on the thighs. So we start to get this sensation of rooting and rising at the same time. Slowing the breath down, taking control of the breath, noticing its quality, and seeing if you can iron out the edges of the breath, finding a smoothness and steadiness. Inhaling, feeling a subtle lift, the crown of the head rises, the spine lifts a little. And as you exhale, keeping all of that space and allowing the body to relax around the spine. Inhaling to lengthen. And exhaling. Just bring a little bit of movement in, so open the eyes. And as you inhale, take one arm over. And exhale, reach through the fingertips. Take it back through the center with your inhale. Stay relaxed through the shoulders, not too much effort here. And just feel an opening, so you're still rooting through that sit bone even as you lift away. Inhaling through the center, making space with that exhale. Inhaling center. Exhaling. Rooting through the sit bone as you reach through the fingers. One more each side. And then inhale, arms lift, and this time just take it into a gentle twist again. Keep the lift through the spine as you exhale to twist to one side. Your hands can just ease you through a little deeper. Inhale to unravel to the center. And exhaling to the other side. So to move with the rhythm of your breath. Stay lifted through the inhale. So see, can you feel that space? And keep the space as you exhale in a twist. So you're not folding, you're not shortening the body. Move with the rhythm of your own breath. And just do one more each side. Last one. Rooting and rising. So keep contact, attention in the sit bones, staying heavy. But feel a lightness come to your spine. Inhale to bring the arms up, and as you exhale, bring the hands together. And draw that down in front of the heart center. And just close your eyes, take 2 breaths here. All of your attention on that process of inhaling, feeling a lift, a rising, a spaciousness, which you keep as you exhale. Rooting through the sit bones, rising to the crown. And let's bring the brick out to the side. We need to take another breath in a moment. And just come down into child's pose. You can take the knees a little bit wider than hip width and just start to settle the hips back towards the heels. Don't worry if you don't quite make it there. Reach the arms out in front and let the head bow, and maybe it's on the floor, maybe it's not, it doesn't matter. And take a couple of breaths here. Can you feel that still a sense of lengthening the spine? So you breathe into the back of the body, and can you breathe into the front of the body? So even though we're folded, when we find some space at the front of the spine, lengthening with the inhale, keep the space with the exhale. And just take another breath here. And then we'll start to move with the breath. So take an inhale. As you exhale, begin to lift the hips, arching the back into cat pose, pushing into the floor. Great. And then inhaling to lengthen into cow pose, looking forwards, lifting the sit bones. Exhale, take the sit bones back to the heels. And inhale, just feeling that space again. Exhale, lifting the hips, come into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale, child. Good. Take an inhale in child. Feel the lengthening of the spine. Exhale to lift. Really pull the belly back in cat pose, pushing into the floor. Inhale, find the space again from the tailbone to the crown. And exhale as you sit back into child's pose. So you can inhale. Flow. See if you can feel a flow of movement through the spine as you breathe and move at the same time. Sitting back as you exhale into child, take an inhale, lengthen the front of the body, and then exhale, tucking the chin as you come up, tucking the tail, and then releasing the length to your spine as you inhale. Just do one more round. Exhaling, child, inhaling, exhale, cat, really push into the floor. Inhale, lengthen back. Great, and then sit back into child pose and take a breath here. And then as you inhale, start to come up onto hands and knees. Bring the left hand under the left shoulder, bring the left knee under the left hip, and step your right foot back in line with the hand and the knee. So here your foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. You start to come up, stacking over the left shoulder, lift the right arm up to the ceiling and take the gaze to the thumb. Lovely. As you lengthen the tailbone a little bit, can you push into that right foot? Rooting down and feeling a lift. Nice. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Press the fingertips of your left hand into the floor, make that feel really strong through the arm, the shoulder. Rooting into that right foot. Nice. And then we'll start to bring the arm down. Begin to orientate yourself to the front of the mat, and as you come up, step your right foot forwards into a lunge. Take the hands onto the right thigh. So this right ankle is underneath the right knee. And then, can you start to lengthen the tailbone? Draw the tummy muscles back, so that the chest begins to lift. Press the hands into the thigh. Great. And take the ears back, the throat back. So you start to open up the front of the body. Lengthen the tailbone a little bit more. So maybe feel a strong stretch in the left hip flexor. Nice. And then take the left arm up. Keep pushing the right hand into the thigh. That helps to lift the chest. Nice. Lengthen the tailbone. Take another breath. And then bring that left hand to the floor. Great. And you can wiggle this right foot a little bit further forward so you get a deeper lunge through the hips. And take the right hand onto the right knee. Start to turn the belly button towards the right thigh. bring the left ribs through. So you start to take it into a twist as you lunge. If that feels good, so left hand on the floor, maybe? Yeah, there we are. And then you can lunge a bit further through the hips. Take the knee forward. And the hips forward. And then if you want to, you can take the right arm up and open up the chest. If that doesn't feel good, you can always have that right hand on the hip. And feel as if you're still wrapping the left ribs underneath into your twist. And take 2 more breaths. Yeah. And then begin to bring that right hand down. Bring the right knee back. Keep the hips lifted. Walk the hands forwards towards the front of your mat. Keep them wide. And then see, can you start to take the chest to the floor? So you can come up onto your fingertips here. It gives a lift to the armpits if that's available to your shoulders. Become to your shoulders, so trust your body. And then see if you can begin to feel like the sternum melts towards the floor. The middle of the shoulder blade starts to soften. You might find that your head is there to take it onto the floor, or you might put your brick underneath your forehead. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if the head's not on the floor. We're starting to feel a stretch in the upper back. Starting to get that sense of release in the upper back. You can stay there if you wish, or you can walk the hands towards each other, bring the elbows to the floor, so the elbows are either side of the head. And then press the hands together and bring your hands in there behind your head. So the elbows kind of sneak forward. You get a little bit more stretch from the elbow to the armpit. And again, take the attention to the upper back. Can you soften the upper back? Let the chest melt towards the floor just a little bit more. And heart melting pose. Lovely. Take another breath there. Feel the heart melt towards the floor with your exhale, and then start to bring the hands out in front again. Ground the hands, walk the hands back underneath your shoulders. Walk the knees back an inch or 2, tuck the toes. Great, and then feel as if you're hugging the arms together. So if you feel as if you're hugging the arms together, can you feel that just switches on the biceps? So soften the elbows if you don't feel that. And then as you root from the back of the heart, the back of the rib cage into the hands, start to lift the hips and press from the hands to the hips. Your ears end up between your arms. You can keep your knees bent here. This isn't about your hamstrings. You want to feel a lengthening from the hands all the way to the hips, to the sit bones. And then maybe you can start to release the inner ankles back. Scoop the belly a little. And then let the shoulder blades slide towards the hips. So we get a little bit more release through the neck and the head. And take 2 more breaths, downward facing dog. Find a steadiness to your breath, and even here when you're inverted, can you find a lengthening of the spine with the inhale? Feel as if there's space between the vertebrae. And keep that sense of spaciousness as you exhale. So you've got this subtle sense of lengthening through the whole cycle of the breath. Start to bend the knees, and we start to walk the hands back to the feet. The heels can ground. Keep the knees soft. And you can take the feet a little bit wider if that feels good for your spine. You take hold of the elbows. And as you take hold of the elbows, can you start to feel as if gravity is lengthening from the back of the heart, the back of the ribs, all the way down to the elbows as you let them release, let the head go. And then start to find your breath again. So the knees are as bent as you need them, so you're not got too much pull in your hamstrings. Don't feel as if you're pulling on the back too much, so that you can just let the spine go. Take another breath here. Keep the knees bent and start to unravel. So begin to stack one bone at a time of the vertebrae. You come up to standing, shoulder blades slide to the back of the heart, and then take the arms up as you inhale. Take hold of your left wrist and hinge to the right. Maybe bring the feet a little bit closer, but they're still wide. As you root into your left foot, maybe you can hinge a little bit more to the right. And breathe into the left side of the body. Good. Inhale to the center, change the grip, so take hold of your right wrist. Just lengthen the tailbone a little bit, reach into the feet, and then hinge. And take a breath into that right lung. Inhale back to the center. Exhaling hands to the heart and step to the front of your mat. Feet hip width apart. So just look down at the feet, relax your arms for a moment. Then you lift the toes away from the floor. As you lift the toes, feel as if you're spreading through the balls of your feet. Feel the big toe joint, the little toe joint press into the floor, and then relax your toes. So try not to grip the floor with your toes. Slowly. Nice. And then we're going to inhale into chair pose. So as you sweep the hands forwards, if you've got the mobility in your shoulders, then your arms are up. But otherwise, you can have them out in front. Don't worry. And start to take the sit bones back. The knees can float forwards over the toes, but can you keep the chest lifted? You're still looking forward, you're not looking at the floor. Nice. Maybe your arms are up. So do what feels right. Looking forwards, lengthening the tailbone a little bit so that you don't feel like you're sticking your bottom out too much. You've got a firming of the belly, and then take an inhale from the base of your spine to your fingertips. Feel a lengthening sensation. And then exhale and fold. Straighten the legs to your own degree. Inhale to look forwards. And then as you exhale, step into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high, bend the knee, open the hips out by stacking the right knee over the hips. You're just opening out. Look out underneath your right armpit. Lovely. Great. And then as you step forward, step the right foot to the right hand. Keep the back knee lifted and then start to find the twist. So we start to push into your left hand. The belly button begins to twist. And then take the top arm up if that's comfortable. You can always have the hand on your hip if the shoulder doesn't find it. Good. And then start to find the breath, and this time can you breathe from your left hand through the chest to your right fingertips. Nice, strong through the left leg. Nice, take another breath. And then we're going to transition into side angle pose. So bring your right hand down, bring the elbow onto your right knee. You're going to flatten the left foot down, toes pointing to the long edge of your mat. And start to lift and open the chest to the left. You can have your left hand on your left hip if that feels good. Bring the thigh parallel to the floor as much as you can. And just make sure that the knee, if you have a light shining out of the knee, it's facing straight forwards. And then, if it feels good, you can take the left arm alongside your ear. Lovely. Side angle pose. Feel as if you're going to draw back from the outer knee to the outer hip. Tucking that hip under a little bit. Can you bring the right ribs through a tiny little bit more? And then bring your left hand onto your left hip again. And if your brick is handy, it's nice to have a brick here as you go into triangle pose. Just bring it to the outside of the left foot. And then begin to straighten the right leg. From the core of your pelvis, so from the center of the pelvis, start to push into both feet. Feel how that starts to give you a bit of a lift. The right ribs come round. And then here you can take the left arm up and find Trikonasana, triangle pose. Good. Push into that front foot a little bit more, Maggie, right into the big toe joint. Nice, triangle pose. Take another couple of breaths. Start to bend your front knee. Great, so you're going to take your grip into your hand and wriggle the back foot in a little bit, so maybe halfway. And then we're going to transition into Ardha Chandrasana, so half moon pose. Yes, strong on the standing hip. So when you're ready, you're just going to pop up onto that right foot. So this right leg needs to be super strong and steady. You can start, if your balance isn't great, by looking down at the floor. Start to make your left leg really strong so that you're pushing through the heel. Nice. When you're comfortable, you can stay where you are, or you can begin to bring the right ribs through and then take the left arm up. Well done, Suze. Yeah. And then start to bring the left foot next to the right, sitting back, and inhale into chair pose. And then push into the feet, come to Tadasana. Well done. So have your brick ready, we'll take that to the other side. When you're ready, inhaling, chair pose. Can you keep the sternum facing forwards? Hold the belly a little bit so that we're not sticking, you don't feel like you're crushed in the low back. So you just draw back the belly, relax the shoulders. Take a steady breath, chair pose. Feeling grounded through the feet, and as you inhale, can you feel a lengthening, a spaciousness through the spine, and then exhale and come and fold. Inhale to lengthen forwards, and as you exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the left leg, bend the knee, and stack the hips a little bit. So really ground into your right hand here. So sometimes we collapse in that right shoulder as you lift the left leg. And look out under the left armpit, lifting the knee even higher, even higher. Lovely. And then look to the thumbs and step your left foot forwards. Great. Keeping the right thigh lifting towards the ceiling, right leg strong. Ground the right hand and then just take it into a twist. So you can have your left hand on your left knee to begin with and begin to bring the right ribs through. Start to stack the shoulders a little bit. Keep the right leg strong. If it feels good, take the left arm up. Pushing into the right hand and start to breathe from the right hand to the left fingertips. It's okay, you can keep the hand on the shoulder, on the hip here, if you wish. Nice. Take one more breath, breathe from the back heel to the crown of your head. Lovely, and then we start to transition to side angle pose. So start to orientate yourself back to the mat. You can come up onto the fingertips of your right hand. Left elbow to the left thigh. Flatten the leg. Right foot down, toes pointing to the long edge of your mat. And the left elbow on the left thigh. Yeah, now just have a look at your left knee and see where it's pointing. Can you get it to point straight forwards? So the elbow can help to just draw the knee open a little bit towards the baby toe. Nice. Now start to draw the belly up from the pubic bone to the navel and root into your back leg. And then maybe you can take the arm up. If it feels good, you can take the arm overhead. And then reach from the toes, the feet, into the fingertips. Nice. Can you hug the right arm back into the body? So draw the shoulder blade down, have a little bit more space for the neck. And breathe into the side body. Reach through the fingertips, inner body right. Nice, one more breath. And then we'll start to take it into Trikonasana. So bring the right hand onto the hip so that you can take hold of your brick, bring it to the outside of your left foot. And then start to straighten the left foot. So we want to feel as if we're pressing into the feet from the pelvis. And that roots, that makes your legs strong, it roots into your feet. Then we can start to get some rotation through the torso. So push into your feet, straighten both legs. Start to bring the left ribs round. And then if it feels good, you can take it to palm up. Nice. Give the head a little shake if the head feels tight. The neck feels tight, you can look down at the foot. And feel as if you're drawing back from the outer ankle, the outer knee to the outer hip. Lovely, that's it. Another breath, triangle pose. So, Andy, it's good to have your feet quite wide here. It gives you a little bit more space for your spine. Lovely. One more breath. Trikonasana. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Bend your left knee. So we're going to wiggle that right foot in halfway. So you've got more weight coming into this left foot. And then just step into the left foot. So the brick comes forwards and to the top corner of your mat, and you can look down to get your balance. So you feel as if you're bricking your foot and have got enough space between them that you feel balanced. Then start to firm both legs. So pushing into your left foot, reach through the right heel. When you feel steady, you can take the top arm up. Ardha Chandrasana. Well done. Really root into that foot from the buttock to the foot. Well done, everyone. Take another breath. So Andy, if the balance is difficult, look down at the floor. Lift the back leg. Well done, everyone. Last breath. And then we'll start to bend your left knee. Bring the right foot next to the left. Bring the arms up, chair pose. Well done. And then root into the feet. And release. Good. So take hold of your brick. You're going to take a long step with the right foot. Turn the toes to the long edge of your mat. And make sure that your feet are nice and wide. So in theory, and it doesn't work for everybody, doesn't really work for me. I mean, my legs are short, so your ankles are underneath your wrists. Yeah, so you could try even wider, Andy. Nice. So then bring your hands onto your hips and feel as if you're squeezing your legs together. So you feel as if the inner thighs are starting to work a little bit. Tone the belly back and then begin to hinge at the hip. So the sit bones broaden and you come in to bring your torso parallel to the floor. Lovely. And then you can either bring your fingertips to the floor or you can keep coming and maybe the head finds the brick. Yeah, lovely. So the brick can be high or you can stack some more bricks down if you need to, or just have your hands underneath your shoulders. That's absolutely fine. Lovely. So bending the elbows, letting the head release into the brick. And you might find if you're a bit more flexible that you want your brick lower. Then you draw the shoulder blades away from the floor a little bit. So that there's a lengthening to your neck. You're not compressing here. And then turn the belly a little bit and see if you can root back into your feet. So as you really push into the feet, the legs feel active. And then can you breathe into the spine? Can you, even in this pose, feel a lengthening to the spine with your inhale? Great. Can you straighten the legs a little bit more, maybe be firm into the feet? Nice. Take another breath. Let's come up halfway. So the hands are underneath the shoulders and you're going to heel toe the feet towards each other twice. Try that. Ending with the heels in and the feet out, the toes out. Start to bend the knees, really sit back into the hips. Bring one hand onto the thigh, the other hand onto the thigh. Good. So you can use your hands to try to keep the knees pointing wide, the knees stay in line with the toes. And begin to stack the torso over the hips. So here we really need to pull the belly back and tuck the tail under. Nice, goddess pose. You can keep your hands on your hips here. Or you can take the arms up. Nice, sit a little deeper. And find a real strong breath. So breathe space into the spine. Strong breath. Take the hips a little deeper. Well done. Knees pressing out wide. Take 2 more breaths. Lovely, now we start to push into the feet, well done. Bring the hands up, and then hands together and walk the feet underneath. So we're coming to tree pose. So take your time, feel your feet. And let's all do the same side. So I might not be mirroring you here, but let's all have our left foot on the floor. Come up onto the tiptoes of the right foot first, and just see what happens to the left hip. So sometimes if we're a bit weak in the hip, it will drop out. So we want to feel like we're drawing energy in, and you're firming the muscles of the buttock. And then when you lift your right foot, you should feel nice and stable. So we want the foot either above the knee or below the knee. So Andy, if it doesn't go above, then put it on the calf. Lovely. And then push the foot and the leg towards each other. So we still don't want this hip to drop out. Suck in. So you can always take it to the, oh, that's great. Yeah, you've got it. And then let's take the arms up. Keep that sensation of squeezing the foot and the leg together, and then breathe from the foot to the crown of your head, even to the fingertips. And see if you can get the spine to feel as if it's lifting, rising. Even as you exhale. Well done. Let's take 2 more breaths. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Firming the buttock of the standing leg. Bring the arms down to prayer. We'll come out of it with control. Unplug the foot. And bring the right foot next to the left. So again, feel that sense of really grounding into the left foot. So come up onto the tiptoes of the left. And then see, can you feel like you're sucking all of the buttock and thigh muscles into the midline of that standing leg. So you feel super strong. It does feel like a tree. Bring the foot to the inner thigh and then start to push the foot and the thigh together. Lengthening the tailbone. Taking the arms up. And then start to concentrate on the breath. Steady breath. Can you feel a lift with the inhale? Yeah, really squeeze the muscles around the pelvis of the standing legs, so the buttock, the thigh. Nice and steady. Focus on the sensation of the inhale, bringing more space to the spine. Well done. 2 more breaths. Well done. And then with control, bring the arms down to prayer. Unplug the foot. And release the foot to the floor. Well done. Coming to the front of your mat. Bring the hands together behind your back. And roll the shoulder blades into the back of the heart center. So we've got a lift through the chest. Good. Maybe you can straighten the arms, but don't worry if you can't. Bend the knees. And then just take it into a forward fold. Great. And feel as if you're lifting the shoulders away from the floor. Let the head relax, the shoulders relax. The knees can be as bent as you wish here. And find a steadiness to the breath. Great. And then release the hands. And take the hands to the backs of the heels. The backs of the ankles. You can keep the knees even more bent if you wish. It's up to you. And start to just draw the chest a little closer to the thighs, with the crown of the head released towards the floor. And breathe into your fold, breathe into the spine. Even here, can you feel a lengthening of the crown towards the floor? And then bring the hands to the floor. Set the feet back and come into child's pose. See if you can keep the knees closer together. If your back doesn't like that or the knees don't like that, then take them nice and wide. Push into the hands, tone the tummy muscles back so that you can start to lay the torso across the thighs. Or come into puppy dog. Oh my god, that's great if your knees working. And then walk the hands back. And come onto your back. Roll the shoulder blades one at a time underneath so that it sits flat between the rib cage and the floor. And you feel open through the collarbones. The feet are about hip width apart. And then start to find your feet. So can you feel your left foot, the inner edge, the outer edge, big toe, little toe joints, inner heel, outer heel, right foot, the whole of the ball of the foot, the inner heel, the outer heel. And start to push down evenly into your feet. The pelvis starts to lengthen away from the ribs as you lift into bridge pose. Feel as if your knees are floating forwards, but your body weight is pouring into your feet as you lift the hips even higher. Can you feel as if you're even rolling the shoulder blades in a little bit more so the sternum comes towards the chin as you press into your feet? Feel the knees floating forwards, don't let them swing out. Lovely. Let's take 2 more breaths. Bridge pose. Keep that sense of energy flowing. So the spine is long here. Breathe into the length of your spine, all the way to the tailbone, pouring your weight into your feet. Take 1 more breath here. And then begin to release the spine from your upper back, your middle back, your lumbar spine, and then the pelvis, releasing to the floor. Hopefully your brick is still somewhere close. So take hold of your brick, push into your feet again, and just slide the brick underneath your pelvis. So here you might need to adjust the brick a couple of times. It should feel as if the flat bone of your sacrum at the back of your pelvis is able to release onto the flat surface of your brick. If you don't have a brick, just stay with your knees bent and your pelvis on the floor. So take a moment here to settle the weight of the pelvis into the brick. And you can decide it could be low on its lowest setting, it might be on its middle setting. And if you do a lot of yoga and you're flexible, you might have it on the highest setting. And then feel as if the back of your neck lengthens as you take the throat back, the palate back. And you can stay there if you wish, or you can begin to lift one foot and then the other foot off the floor. And start to straighten the legs. Supported half shoulders. If the brick feels uncomfortable in your back, just bring your feet down and adjust it slightly. Relax the arms. And then start to relax the face, the jaw. More breaths. Bend the knees, let the heels release towards the sit bones. Take a breath there. If we bring the feet back to the floor, push into the feet to lift the pelvis and slide the brick out. We don't need that anymore. And start to let the spine release to the floor once more. Great. Bring the feet, the toes, the knees together. And feel as if you velcroed the legs together. Arms super wide. And then let the knees roll to the right. With the left foot will come off the floor. If you want to, you can slide your knees up a little bit so that the right hand can then anchor the left knee. And if your neck feels comfortable here, you can take the gaze to the left. Otherwise, keep the nose to the ceiling. And take another breath, breathe into that left side. And then begin to transition to the other side. So you can take a moment in the middle just to have a little rock, center yourself on the floor, and then take the knees to the left. And find a position that feels really useful to your body. So for me, bringing my knees up a little bit towards my elbow, taking the top knee in my hand feels good. It might be different for you. Open up the arms. Maybe draw the left shoulder through a little bit so the collarbones are open to the ceiling. And then maybe take the gaze to the right if that feels good. Two breaths here. Feeling the breath coming into that right side, into the twins. Center. Hug the knees in one last time. A little rock to the back. Bring the feet to the floor. And then finding Shavasana. So arms relaxed to your sides. If you're comfortable with your legs straight and feet wide apart, then go ahead and find that version of Shavasana. If you prefer, if your back isn't so comfortable, then bend your knees. And feel the body just releasing into the earth. Letting go little by little, feeling the tension leave your body as you surrender into Shavasana. Allowing your body to be supported. Surrendering to this moment. Okay. Allowing any thoughts just to pass by like scudding clouds. Settle the breath. Start to find a deeper breath. And find some movement, maybe stretching. Roll onto your side for a moment. Just take your time to come back up to seated. Bring your hands together onto your heart. And take one last breath here from the rooting down of your pelvis, lengthening through the spine to the crown. And with great love and gratitude, namaste.